Good evening, I'm Oral Gibbes, and welcome to Oral Gibbes Live. And this evening, I have two very interesting young men, and they are doing incredible, along with the entire group. I have the director of the St. Martin Carnival Development Foundation, Mr. Granger, and I have the gentleman responsible for media director, Mr. Lourens. Gentlemen, welcome to Oral Gibbes Live, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's good to have you all here. I see you guys got to be really happy with the way Carnival turned out this year, right?
We are. We had a terrific festival. The feedback we've been getting from the public, every time you meet folks on the road, every time you're on social media, wherever you are, people are talking about how great Carnival was. And we love to hear that. You know, we also love to get the constructive criticism in return, because that's how we grow, and that's how we learn. But this festival, this past Carnival here was really, really terrific. It was a year of a lot of changes for us, but vital changes that we knew that we had to make this year. And but all in all, when you're looking at recapping from the Causeway jump up right down to burning of King Momo and everything in between, it was really a terrific, terrific Carnival for us.
Mr. Lourens?
Same thing. We're not only happy, but we're very relieved. This Carnival, I think Mike would also agree, the amount of work that we put in. We basically started a week after last Carnival, 2015 Carnival. We started right away, and we never stopped. A lot of meetings, a lot of negotiations, a lot of preparations. Like I think since I'm around, probably the most. And it was really a great feeling to see that everybody had a good time and everybody really enjoyed themselves. And some of the changes we made were big changes, and those changes proved fruitful and added to the festival.
You know, it makes me feel proud. And I tell you why it makes me feel proud. I was telling a gentleman the other night, years ago, you feel kind of embarrassed about St. Martin Carnival. Not anymore. I mean, you guys have taken this to an international level that is unheard of.
Yeah.
You know, right now, and I don't have the numbers, the statistics to back up what I'm saying, but just by listening to what people are saying throughout the Caribbean, it's like St. Martin Carnival right now is after Trinidad.
Yes, and that can be justified with a lot of the foreign media that we have coming to the Carnival now, including this year we had the world's largest Carnival website, representatives from the world's largest Carnival website, which is Trini Jungle Juice. And she was here, and a couple of the camera people were here, and they were absolutely amazed with what they were seeing, because the village, for example, this lady called St. Martin's Carnival Village the best carnival venue she has ever been in. And she even made a joke, and she said, but you guys are getting out there now, but you've kept this a secret for a long time, you know. And she said she wants to do more business with us. She wants to come back to St. Martin. Our product, you know, Oral, it is such a unique product where you have not just Carnival, you have a music festival, you literally have a food festival, you have our culture, music, food, concerts, color, everything mixed up in one long festival, 21 days consecutively, which is the longest carnival in the Caribbean. It is an incredible product to push internationally. We have a lot of what everybody really wants. You have the food connoisseurs, you have the soca lovers, you have the international major concerts that you get at a very cost-effective price compared to anywhere else in the world. So we are very happy to the level of where Carnival has gotten, and it was a plan. I mean, this didn't just happen. This is a plan that started 5 years ago. We're right now entering the 5th year, or actually just concluded the 5th year of that plan, and now we're about to start on another initiative that's right up Alston's alley in taking Carnival to the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting, because I had Mr. Jocelyn Ondell here, and he was telling us about when he went to St. Thomas to look at how they
in the 70s.
Yeah, you know, and then he was recently honored.
Yes.
And it was a festival village they had in Phillipsburg. I was a little boy at the time. And it's amazing to see from that little village, a few booths, and then they move over to where the Carnival village is now, the festival village, and to see how it has grown. Is just amazing. Now, when it comes to the organization, you're here, you're director of media, but I know there's a lot of people behind this organization, but you ever thought that it would be like this, that it will come to this size? I mean, it's now a big business.
Yeah, well, we did. We always told government and our sponsors, for example, and every time we've met with Parliament, they've always asked, why don't you guys have a full-time director like the Heineken Regatta has, etc. And we always thought that that's the way we should go, because we knew the potential of Carnival. We know what Carnival can do for the economy of this country, and we knew once it got to a certain size, it will need a much more dedicated attention in terms of full-time attention. Carnival Foundation is a group of volunteers, volunteers who have their own regular jobs, who have their businesses, their families, etc. And they have to find the time to dedicate to coordinate and organize Carnival. This past year or last year, the foundation took a decision and said, look, Carnival is growing way too fast, and it's the size now is so big, you need someone to focus on it exclusively year-round, someone who can do the day-to-day operations of Carnival. And I was privileged and fortunate that the foundation thought that person was my person, and they appointed me director for Carnival to handle the day-to-day operations of Carnival. And that gives us a lot more flexibility. We don't have to wait until who knows when to start working on Carnival. It's continuously going, because that is literally, and quite to the point, my job. Yeah. My job is to make sure Carnival gets the attention it needs every day, 365 a year, 24/7. And so far the formula is working good. And then we have a very active media team who also has to get into a lot of the day-to-day activities.
Yeah, and the good thing with the media is that it's calculatable to some point. I can give you one statistic that's very, very interesting. January 2016, our Facebook page had 13,000 and change likes. Before Carnival was over, before Parade Day, we doubled that. We went to 26,000. It's one of the biggest Facebook pages, if not the biggest in St. Martin and probably in this part of the Eastern Caribbean. Mm-hmm. We're very proud of that. But what it means is, and we put out a couple ads about that, who are the people that are looking at our page and are interested about our Carnival. We had people from Germany, as far east as Japan, Venezuela, people from all over the world, Hollywood. We had a group from Portland, Hollywood, Germany, that came to our Carnival. So that's why we put so much emphasis into early planning and really looking at it on a global level. I feel really good when people say, we're right after Trinidad.
Yeah.
I would feel good if people said we're top 5, but if you want to say right after Trinidad, keep saying it. I love it. We're trying to be the next best thing going on in the Caribbean. And a group that we normally don't get a lot of feedback from, we got this year, which was the superstar artists that were on the stage. A lot of those artists came and said, why have we been hiding this from the rest of the world, from the rest of the Caribbean? A lot of the Trinidad artists, they was like, my God, they had no idea this is what they were coming to St. Martin to meet. A crowd like this, a festival like this, a venue like this. A lot of them had probably one of them who is Masha Montano's DJ, to really point it out, DJ Stevens, he mentioned this is the best fete. And he didn't say this to us. He went on his social media days later and said, this was the best fete I had for the year.
That's right.
And this is a man whose main job is to put on big concerts and parties. So when he says that St. Martin was the best party he had up to the end of April, I think we're doing our job good. And the people of St. Martin are really responding well.
Yeah. I mean, the people of St. Martin are very critical. And I mean, I'm telling you, when you hear a guy like me say, look, you guys, St. Martin Carnival is after Trinidad. I don't have the numbers to prove it, but I can tell by just speaking with people and seeing what's going on, you all come a long way.
Yes, and key to that, we do a statistical report every year, and that's being finalized now by our marketing director. But key to it, I think is important, is you have a new generation of promoters, a new generation of revelers, a new generation of Carnival lovers who are bringing a new network to Carnival as well, and a new kind of energy to Carnival. And they are being very creative. They're thinking outside of the box. This year we had a wet fete in the village, a wet down. Then you got Caribbean Flag Fest. And then you got all kind of new things happening in Carnival. So that is driving the energy behind Carnival, because it's now the generation starting to wake up. All these new generation are doing troop launches, band launches, and all this type of thing before Carnival. They're driving the energy up, and Carnival in turn is benefiting from it.
Now, I know you all made some major changes when you came in, 5 years ago, or 5 or 6 years ago, right?
Yeah, 5. Yeah.
What do you see as the big changes that really changed Carnival in St. Martin?
I would say, first of all, it's how we did our reach. Carnival, for a long time, has gotten by just being something everybody expects. So at some point, they're going to look for a schedule, and they're going to see what's going on. We really pushed it from early this year, making a lot of announcements. We have a Facebook page that's very active. We have a website. We have an app now. I think we're one of the only carnivals with its own app. And that's being downloaded all around the world. And when someone has that app, we can send a message to them at any time.
You can get both on iOS and Android?
That's
both
right.
on iOS and Android. So that's part of it. We've made a lot of changes. What we have measured, what people don't really realize, we measure these changes, and we think about it, and we go back and forth, and the board votes, and we vote again sometimes, and these are the things that we consider, and usually any change to Carnival, people love it so much, any one little change to Carnival starts an uproar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have heard for at least 5 years in a row, we throwing away Carnival, it gone to the dogs. And I always write down the names of those people who say those things on social media, because those same people.
People really say that?
Yes, and those same people, come April, are the ones saying this is the best Carnival I've ever had, ever.
Yeah.
So when you change somebody's mind on so much, you're doing something well.
Yeah.
I think the people appreciate a lot of the changes, and some of the big. This year for me, the proudest thing was the bands. Was the local bands. We took a stance for the local bands, gave them their juve by them alone. We got a lot of bad, we would call all kind of things.
Why?
Because people in St. Martin seem to forget that juve is about St. Martin. It's not about an international band coming and putting on a show for us. It's about us having fun with us. Yeah. And I can say openly that there has been a gap between what the bands are producing and what people are liking, or people who know the bands, and I think we sort of started to bridge that gap. A lot of bands have gotten back their fans, have gotten new fans, and we have new bands, and I mean, we had the biggest juve ever.
Yeah.
With local bands only.
Yeah. Well, another key oral to our growth and over the last few years, we needed to get. There was a lot of people, a lot of segments in St. Martin that didn't feel like Carnival was for them. That was very important for the growth of Carnival. There was too many sections that just people that used to travel off the island when Carnival come, people who thought Carnival was a class thing between certain people. It's only for certain people. So we made a conscious effort to go and reach out to a lot of these different segments. We went and meet with them. We went and show them how you can be involved. We went to show them why Carnival is important to them and their companies and their business, how it's important to the economy of St. Martin, how can have a trickle-down effect to your company, your business, your family, etc. So we went and we reached out deliberately to a lot of people who thought they were on the fringes of Carnival. And what that did, that brought these new people into Carnival, and it brought in new ideas, new initiatives, new marketing directions. All of these things start trickling into Carnival now. And when those things start coming into your festival, you automatically you're going to have to grow, because there are some things you weren't doing that you're going to see yourself having to develop, And so our reach, Alston said, our reach to every segment of this community was important, as well as involving our different stakeholders in Carnival. One of that example is the outsourcing of the pageants to Posh Productions. Mm-hmm. That is involving a dedicated stakeholder, Anna Rabes, who are on the fringes, watching and maybe contributing, maybe being a chaperone of a girl here and there. But we said, no, bring these stakeholders in. Give them a piece of the pie, which is the pageants. Say, look, Carnival, you take care of that segment for us, because you have the freedom, you have the know-how, you have the other business contacts that can elevate that segment of Carnival.
You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Exactly. And once Anna once Posh Productions elevates the pageants, Carnival in general, elevate along with it. You know, so once you bring people in and let them give their input into Carnival, you see you're better off for it.
Were you all able to resolve that issue with Windmill Island Bank and the machine in the village?
Well, I want to make clear to everybody that the Windmill Islands Bank took the decision on their own.
Oh, okay.
Nobody kicked WIB out of the village. Nobody told WIB to get out of the village. None of that. We came one morning and saw the guys in downstairs first replacing the ATM. So we said, hey, cool, they're going to stay. A few days later, they removed the same new ATM that they put in. That's a decision they took. Right now, in the lead up to Carnival 2017, we're going to have discussions with all banks to see who wants to operate an ATM in the Carnival village for Carnival, and we go from there. So right now, it's still an empty hole in the wall, but by next Carnival, that'll be filled for sure.
But was it true the amount that we saw in the papers that what the SDDF wanted from the bank?
15,000, yeah. Absolutely. Because that's another thing over the last 5 years or that we did. We had to revalue Carnival because there were a lot, to be very honest, there was a lot of piggyback riding on Carnival. There's a lot of people and businesses who wanted to ride a donkey for everything they can get out of it, but don't want to contribute back to it.
While we're suffering.
While the Carnival Foundation is going through hardships. So we had to, did a lot of surveys, did a lot of studies, showed the sponsors how valuable Carnival is and what kind of return they can get from Carnival or what kind of return we know they are getting from Carnival. So because of that now, we are kindly asking if you could contribute a little bit more so so the festival can grow, the village can maintain itself, and therefore you can continue operating. That is what happened there. So everybody, every sponsor associated with Carnival this past year had to do a little bit more.
I also had some people that called and they said, well, you know, we can't buy liquor anymore from any particular liquor store. We had to buy from one. Was that true too?
Same thing, same situation. For years, I would say maybe 25, 30 years, the only company that has given directly to the Carnival Foundation to operate inside the Carnival Village was ILTT, Heineken. Okay, that's only one. The others was operating and selling in the village without contributing 1 red cent to the operations in the village. Now we say, no, that's not fair. If you want to derive a commercial benefit from Carnival, because Carnival is making it possible, then you have to give a little bit more to Carnival. Right. Heineken cannot be carrying the burden on its own in the village for everybody. So we ask all of these companies, look, the direction we're heading in is that if you want to make money in the village, you have to pay something. We've gotten ILTT as our beverage distributor. You can go ahead, have a discussion with them, come on board, then you get your brands in the village. If you don't want to talk to ILTT, you come to call directly to the SCDF. But the free ride in the village is over. You have to contribute to the operations in the village in order to make money in the village. Some companies, the majority of the companies came on board. One of them did not, and that one didn't have their brands in the village.
And any plans in the future to have a bidding process? You might get more money where you have companies bid and see who bid the most for.
Well, actually, before we made this decision, we did offer this to all of the companies. This was not as much as ILTT has always been with us. We showed all the companies this is what we're planning on doing, and the response from some of them was
no. No way. They're used to the free ride.
And I don't think they thought that we would have stuck to what it is we're saying. We, as Mike mentioned just now, we cannot have companies making so much money to a festival that cannot even pay bills to stay going. Yeah. So we need to make sure that the festival keeps going so that they could keep making money. So we all need to help each other. As you know, we have changed our business model to try and get off of depending on government. It's a good thing we did that. As you know, our country has some financial stresses in its own, and we are able to still manage and still have a wonderful carnival.
So the subsidy that was given to the organization is still there, but it's limited?
The subsidy, I smile when I talk about the subsidy because I like to explain it, because it has been cut every year for the past 4 years.
So it's going down all the time?
It's going down every year. And that subsidy is meant only for marketing. The Carnival Foundation cannot spend a cent of that subsidy on anything else other than marketing Carnival. People think, oh, we get this great amount of money from government, we could pay prizes, we can pay this, we can pay that. Absolutely not. And the subsidy right now, it went from 500,000 guilders, now it's $175,000. Okay? The Carnival budget, our annual budget, is approaching $700,000. Government subsidy is $175,000
For marketing.
for marketing only. So the rest of that budget, we have to fund ourselves with the assistance of our corporate sponsors. So it is always quite a challenge to do. People don't understand that while government gives a drop in the bucket, it does not give anything close to what it takes to fully subsidize it, the Carnival festival. They can't do it. So the subsidy is there, but it is basically, it's there for marketing. In fact, we are now considering what we're going to, it might as well at a tourist office, you could keep that subsidy in government coffers, discuss with Carnival Foundation how we think it should market Carnival. We say, don't bother, give us the money, keep the money there, and then here's our ideas on how you can market Carnival. Go ahead and spend it on those things. Because it really, if it's only for marketing, then it really doesn't make any sense to come to us.
So do you see your budget approaching $1 million by next year, the year after?
In the next couple of years, absolutely.
Carnival is growing.
Yeah.
Carnival, despite the subsidy going down the last 4 years, Carnival has grown exponentially the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get stronger. Our budget is going to go up. We released also information, infographic about how the festivals in the Caribbean, our neighbors, how they are being supported financially by our government. And ours is dead last. We are dead last.
Yep.
So with that being said, I'm not trying to point no fingers at no government people, but I'm trying to say, as Mike is saying, let the tourist office do their job, because that's their responsibility to promote everything going on the island.
Yep.
But we have been doing this without that adding to our operational budget, which is what these other festivals that we are now in competition with, North Sea Jazz, St. Kitts Music Festival, Dominican, Trinidad Carnival, all of these we are in competition with. We are doing it without major support of a government.
But that says something about what you all are doing. It's good.
Exactly.
It's good in a
And that's
way.
why we feel so good, and we feel so proud when we see this thing happen really well.
It'll be nice, because I remember having a conversation with former Democratic Party MP Roy Marlin, and he said, so basically Carnival needs 1.5 million guilders, and then you're all set. We was like, it'll help, it'll help, and 1.5 million guilders compared to what Carnival does to the economy of St. Martin, to us is nothing, because government makes everything on the back end, of course, through taxes, through this, through that. All the hotels are booked. We have our statistics we'll come out with. Every single hotel in town, over 90% occupancy, fully booked. Over the hill now, because you can't find any hotels in town, people are booking over the hill now. Now those hotels are getting business, car rentals, restaurants, the supermarkets. Let's not talk about the supermarkets. These people are all benefiting the economy. There's a constant money flow during Carnival time. So we're saying Carnival. In St. Martin, for example, Carnival was strategically placed in April as well to extend our high season. All our competition around us, their high season ends a month before us. But ours continue because of where Carnival is. Had Carnival not been there, our low season would have kicked in from March until
Easter, yeah.
September, October. You see, so Carnival is playing a vital role in the economy of this country. So we are hoping in future discussions with government, we can get them on board with a little bit more in terms of subsidy. But if not,
now speaking about the Ministry of Happiness, maybe we can place Carnival under the Ministry of Happiness.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I don't think nothing else in St. Martin makes people that happy.
No.
And I'm proud to say, I always say it, I think I would like somebody to prove me wrong, but Carnival is the biggest thing happening on the Dutch and the French side of this island every year.
That's
If somebody can show me something that's bigger than that helps tourism, helps the economy, brings more entrepreneurship, all of that, I will shut my mouth and walk away.
Let me tell you something. The French side have their Carnival, and you wouldn't even know that they have Carnival. If you But when the Dutch side have carnival,
Everybody's over here.
you know,
Everybody's
you
there.
go
Everybody's
Marigot and you see the difference.
Yeah, because those our brothers and sisters from the French side, they come over and celebrate with us. So it's incredible, and you're gonna see, or it's like in Trinidad, everybody wants this carnival. You know, you don't even bother organize anything else, do anything else in Trinidad, and it's getting like that in St. Martin. The month of April is literally just there. Don't even bother.
I don't know business that much.
My wife just tell me goodbye from the beginning. From the
That's
first day, I see you in May, and luckily I see if she comes into the carnival.
But I think it's great what you guys are doing but people ask me about you all used to have this huge parade between both sides of the island.
Yeah.
And they asked me something. What happened to that?
Yeah. The Unity Parade.
Yeah.
The Unity Jump Up. The French side had a lot of issues over there with the Unity Jump Up in terms of safety and security. So the collectivité stopped giving permits to jump up over there. This was 3-4 years ago. To be honest, we have not revisited it. Why we have not revisited? Because we got a beautiful causeway all of a sudden. And when we saw that causeway, we decided, we need to take a couple of trucks over it and baptize it.
Let's have a jump up over it.
Every year.
Over
It has to be rebaptized every year. And so we started having the causeway jump up, and that is a very long jump up as well. And so that replaced the Unity jump up. However, we are now looking at something that includes both causeway and Unity, but that's a different story. That's a different discussion altogether. We haven't taken a decision on that as yet.
With your plan, maybe to have a boardwalk jump up?
Leave it up to us and the Samaritan people. We'll have a jump up all over this island.
Well, it's amazing because maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm sure a few people know about it. There are plans in the works to extend that boardwalk going all the way down to Fort Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Now, when that happens, I hope I'm around to see it because I'm telling you, that can make for the best jump up in the world.
Yeah, that's right. On a beachside jump up.
Yeah.
Don't put ideas on our head.
I'm thinking already.
Yeah.
I once told Mike just privately, and nobody quote me from saying this. I said, Mike, why we don't have a jump up from the airport to the seaport? He said that people are going to reach the port and jump in the water.
Exactly. Our people then they're going to want to go back to the airport.
Go back to the airport.
Yeah.
So you all ever try to do surveys on visitors to find out how much they spend when they're here?
We did.
What they spend?
Yeah.
You all did that?
Well, we do that. We do that. Our marketing director, he handles that.
Yeah.
It's as Mike mentioned a little bit earlier. We are actually finalizing that now.
Yeah.
What's very interesting this year in terms of people coming in. On top of that, now we started a new project this year where we brought the tourists that are visiting on the island into the village.
That was good.
Yes. And people, I don't know if everybody noticed, but some of those nights, those tourists came back.
That's right.
So we had them for lunch. They got a little tour. They got some of the culture of the village. They got some old pictures. They could see how the village used to be and what's here now. And sometimes they're there and the sound check is going on. So they're like, what's going on tonight? I have a concert tonight. Here's a flyer. And they come back in droves.
Yeah.
They would sit at a booth and have, our people are so friendly. Our people, we still don't realize that we're very friendly to tourists and to visitors, and they felt at home. There was a guy, I saw him every day at the same booth, till he know my name, I know his name.
Yeah.
And he said, there's nothing better going on the island, I'm going to stay here.
That's right.
And so we are going global, and it's simple to me. Our island always has a lot of people on it. Mm-hmm. Why are they not in the village?
So it was not only cruise visitors, but also stay over.
Stay over too.
Yeah. The good thing about those the tours is that they are cruise conversion programs as well, because the cruise visitors I was like, but wait, we didn't even know this was happening in April. So now they can plan for next April to come back as stayover visitors.
Right.
So you convert those cruise visitors, and now in the off season, we're going to have more discussions with the tour operators, the harbor, etc., on how we can expand that program. Because for the One Love Reggae Night alone, we had about 300 tourists in the village for that one concert, because it was well promoted in hotels, etc. They were there in the afternoon, and they decided, hey, it's reggae, we're coming back in the night. So, and as I mentioned, the booth holders, Oral, you would be amazed how our booth holders turn into the biggest tourism information officers on St. Martin. They would sit tourists down and give them history about St. Martin, history about Carnival, about the village, etc., etc. Our people are incredible people. When you give them these opportunities, they just turn into ambassadors just like that. They welcome the tourists, they give them free samples, free food, free drinks, etc. And of course, what happened? The tourism came back in the night and spent money at their booths. So, and of course, you can't replace word of mouth marketing. All of these visitors who come here and get on their Instagram and their Twitter accounts and their Facebook and they start talking about St. Martin and telling St. Martin about telling their friends about St. Martin, etc., etc. You can't replace that kind of marketing, and it's only benefit us.
But there are a number of different booths now in the Carnival Village,
Yes.
right? In terms of different countries, etc.
There's everything.
Yes.
There's everything in the village. There is literally everything. There's 79 booths.
Yeah.
And if you start to walk from one to the other one, I want to see somebody do a challenge that they eat at every booth in the village. It's impossible.
Everybody's different.
It's impossible. There are certain things I heard that they were selling, and I tried to get it before. I'm in the village all day, every day, and I still didn't make it to all of them. So it's really a good mirror of our society, which is very multicultural, because the food was multicultural. You had Surinamese, Jamaican, a lot of local friend side. You had alligator. You got to eat the
Alligator too?
alligator. All kind of stuff.
That's by Norbert's booth.
Yes, and drinks, new drinks that people have made up that are like none other. Some I can't say the name on your TV show, you know, but it's such a great experience, the village itself, and that's my favorite part of Carnival too, because you see people enjoying being here, you know, even our local people.
But it's open 24 hours, right?
24 hours it's open. I mean, from anybody who's coming for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and early morning breakfast, you know, the casino workers who are coming off of work. You know, so it's really incredible. We call it the biggest outdoor restaurant in the world, Carnival Village. I mean, it is a reflection of our society as Alston said, and it is just an incredible carnival venue. That village is just our heart and soul.
We made some changes that I think was quite interesting. They had to do with minors in the village. Tell us about that.
It's every year we had a situation where young people are very, or when I say young people, I mean very young people, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, was in the village on nights really with a lot of adult content. You know, in the village there's a lot of heavy drinking going on. Not only that, but after the concerts, they're on the road all hours of the night. Police are picking them up. Taking them to the village, to the station or the substation in the village, calling their parents, parents coming upstairs in our office asking if we see their child, children bombing lift home, catching a ride home after concerts and stuff like that. You don't know what situations they're going to get into, and a lot of other situations the SCDF face every year with minors. We decided this year, look, we need to take a stand, another stand that we knew we was going to get flack for. When it comes to minors, but we know in that argument we was morally on the right side of that argument, and we just decided to implement an age limit of minors 14 and below are simply not allowed in the village on particular nights, which which are some of the international nights with adult content. One of those, for example, would be the Rick Ross night that we had this past Carnival. That is a show that very young people should not be in. We took that decision. That was on the heels of the police, who implemented their own fines and regulations for young people on the road if they misbehave, if they backchat to the police, these type of things.
Caught with liquor.
If they get caught with liquor, marijuana, these things. So the age limit in the village, along with what the police was trying to do on the outside, it complemented each other, because really and truly we had to do something about the very young children that we have in Carnival. It just started this year. A lot of people expected it to solve all the problems in 1 year. It's not going to do that, because a lot of it still comes down to parental responsibility, because we can't be everybody's parents. But it is a necessary step we thought we had to take. We got the cooperation from the promoters, who in the beginning were a little iffy about it as well, but we in the end got their cooperation, and it worked out. You know, we receive a lot of flack. People call me a dictator and call me all kind of archaic laws we trying to put into the village and everything. But we said, you know, once you're talking about very young people, that is an argument we will stand up and we will make. And who wants to stand up against that? Well, we think there's something fundamentally wrong with that. So
You think that
we
came from
push forward.
parents? Or, you know, like,
It came from parents.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of the backlash came from parents because parents couldn't figure out now, but I want to come to the village. Where am I going to leave my child?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we were like, well, maybe stay home with your child, you know. But that is not a problem, so to speak, for us to consider when you compare it to young people getting drunk in the village, getting end up on the side of the road, you know. So we got some flack from them, but some of the parents that I knew who we got some flack from early still found a way to get a babysitter or stay by family or whatever, and they still came to the village, you know. So it worked out fine in the end.
And also, Oral, what's good to mention with that is that, listen, people sort of blame us for everything that may possibly go wrong.
Yeah.
We do not control, or we cannot control. Again, we're volunteers. All of us are not 7 feet tall, and we just cannot control the road. That's the police. That's their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But just like a club owner, the village is our jurisdiction. So we can say what the age limit is to come in there.
Yeah.
And this is something that we realized. Me personally, have dropped home kids after 2, 3 in the night, walking, going, and I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
They didn't think on how they would get home. And we cannot be anybody's parent. All we can do is control what we can control. And we think this is good for St. Martin. A lot of the people, after their criticism of it went right away, they was like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We tend to forget when we're in the village and we're drinking and we're having a good time that there are younger people looking at us. And we're setting what type of example for them.
Yeah.
But we quick to point at the youth. So we decided this is adult content, this is adult behavior that happens in the village. For these nights, let the kids stay home.
And young people have their own nights during Carnival.
Yeah.
You know, they have the Youth Extravaganza, which is their own night. They have the children parade on the road. We still allow them to come to our nights that we consider their culture. The Soca Rumble, that music is their culture. Yeah. The Calypso Finals, their culture. Yeah. The pageants and stuff like that, where the contestants are acting and depicting stuff of St. Martin culture. Those are things we want our young people to be exposed to. You know, those are the parts of Carnival we want to be exposed to. But there are certain parts of Carnival that are simply for adults. And those are the parts we decided, you know, everything in its own place.
So at least you're happy the way things turned out.
Very.
Yes, very, very happy.
But when you look at the carnival and you have the local bands, and you hear people complain about international bands, some people still complain that there are too many international bands, too many international nights. What do you all say to that?
For me, the international aspect of Carnival is basically allows a lot of other parts of Carnival to flourish, basically. Because we need to be realistic about the makeup of St. Martin as well. Okay, we're now very multicultural. We have people from all over this world. It's an international island, basically. And we're a hub for the entire Caribbean, and where we are geographically located, everybody flies through St. Martin. We have to, our Carnival product is special is unique compared to any other Carnival product because we have these international aspects. We set ourselves apart because of those international aspects. People can come to St. Martin and know they're not only getting the best of our local performers and artists, but they're getting something extra, which is the international concert. And those international concerts help our small entrepreneurs and the boot holders. They help our brand new promoters who started from a promoter can build up now to, using Mr. Rule as an example, to have a terrific brand new cleaning company that does a terrific job for Carnival and now could go out and do some work for government, etc., etc. So all of that is made possible from international aspects of Carnival. So it's a lot of trickling off, a lot of side angles you could look at it, but we've stopped hearing a lot of complaints about international, to tell you the honest truth. A lot of people more gravitate towards the international aspects still, but people just need to understand that everything in Carnival complements each other. You know, and that's why we grow.
I'm glad you explained that because I heard it this year again still that it's too many international. It should be about our culture. But then again, this is an international island, basically.
And Oral, let me give you a fact. Probably for the first time, there was an international show, which was one of, I think it was probably in the top 3 of the biggest shows.
Yeah.
And the show ended with local artists.
That's right.
Where were those people? What did they say about that? This show ended with the Wet Fete in the village, which was probably, it was in the top of all our shows. It ended with only local artists. And this is what we're saying. And if we be honest with ourselves, on this island, people listen to international music. They listen to Latin music, reggae, they listen to American music, they listen to all of this. We're bringing, there's something for everybody in Carnival.
What you all did did you all do to the Calypsonians? They were very quiet.
I don't know.
They weren't so quiet, because Brad sing on me still.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, the Calypsonians, they're outside doing their thing. I just call the Calypsonians our superstars of Carnival.
Yes.
So they're going to do their thing no matter what anyway.
We did for them, we did change the venue for the eliminations. They all loved it. I think just the different atmosphere, because we usually used to have eliminations back at Celebration Palace. Now we went under the tent at Port de Plaisance, and they loved it. They loved it. The sound was wonderful. Everybody who came dressed to impress, and they really enjoyed that. Again, we have a lot of people in the community who claim that Carnival doesn't have enough culture, but we want to see huge numbers. We want to see these huge numbers of people coming to the cultural aspects of Carnival. Also, Calypso show, the Queen shows, the village cookout, the parade days, which is usually full. But we want to see people come and see our superstars. Soca Rumble, come and see our superstars. And the Calypsonians, that's who they are. I hope that they never come that they sing on me.
I've had it 6 times. It's okay.
Yes, I know. You have a lot of stuff. You have an album.
That's right.
But it's the Calypsonians. I mean, there is no Carnival without Calypso. Let's be quite honest.
Yes.
And we're now also looking into developments as to how Calypso can grow and pass on to the next generation.
But I mean, they were really quiet this year. Really, I mean, I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear enough political songs. I thought with how our island is, we would have heard a lot more.
I didn't hear any complaint from them about you guys.
That's me. We're doing something good.
Communication.
Yeah.
It's you know, we start early with our preparations. You know, and you start early with preparations, you execute better. You know, and that's why we try to be on the same page with all of our stakeholders. And Calypso is one of our most important group of stakeholders. So right now, the registration opens every year on September 1st. Before September 1st, we're going to meet with a lot of our stakeholders to go over changes to rules, changes to regulations, hear some feedback from them about the shows, etc. So by the time April rolls around, March, April rolls around, we've gotten a lot of the stuff all out of the way.
Oh, okay.
You know, so that's why you don't hear a lot of complaining much anymore, because we start really early with our preparations. We want to make sure that once the year rolls around, that we are all on the same page, because from January it's all downhill to April. And in between that time, to May. In between that time, we don't have any time to go over discussing anything that's a problem. Let's get all the problematic issues out of the way the year before, and that has a formula that is working terrific for us.
When it comes to the adult parade and the children parade, is there any way that beforehand the media could have like a list of who are the troops, what, etc., and how are they going to be organized? You know, and you go out there and you want to do something, and it's like, for me, it's getting more and more difficult. Every year I'm saying to myself, well, you know, this is my last year, I'm going to videotape it. I did it this year again, and you don't have anything basically, and at the same time, the spectators are so happy that they don't even give you a chance to really get a good video shot of the event, so that people at home who can't make it and abroad can see it. I had people calling me from all over the state saying to me, how come you haven't posted the Carnival on YouTube yet? And I said, well, I'm waiting. So you see, people are looking for these things, and at the same time, it is so difficult to shoot a Carnival parade when you have people running into the parade. Holding, standing, taking pictures. There should be maybe a particular area where that could be done, maybe to make it a lot more easier. I don't know. It's just my...
No, those are good suggestions. One thing I realized troop leaders used to do, actually, when you look at old footage of Carnival back in the day, what they used to do better than troop leaders are doing now is identify themselves. You know, they used to have clear visible signs, legible signs. Now the signs are so convoluted with all kind of feathers and everything that you can't read sometimes what troop is.
But Gordon is very
what.
clear. That
Yes, he does a good job.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation we need to have with the troops again to tell them, you need to properly identify yourself. Not only you, but the bands on St. Martin have that issue too. Yeah. Because trucks come down the road, you don't know who the bands are.
They got more ads on the truck.
On the truck than the name of the band. You can think that's Koiman Band.
So you stop taking video of the truck.
Right. So that is a very good suggestion. And the part with certain parts of videotaping is something we're looking at in terms of media content.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you guys are on the road and you got thousands of people around you, cutting in front of your camera and stuff like that, we're thinking about particular risers and certain spots along the parade route. So those are things that we're looking at for sure.
This year we changed the judging point to one judging point also, because for the same reason, a lot of the judges would say in the past, I had to run all the way down there to see this one and see this one because too much people were in different areas. So
who the judges were this year?
Who the judges were?
Where
They were at the traffic lights right in front of the Today newspaper. So that open area, they were able to just stand and see every one of them as they passed by.
When I didn't go there this year, I moved.
You were down at Longwall?
The Churchill roundabout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think I saw one or two people there with clapboards taking notes and so forth. They're not judges.
Maybe.
But we have our own people around because we just have to take notes of certain things that happen throughout the parade.
Yeah.
So we remember to address them because, for example, with me, I'm always up front setting the pace.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in the back. So when I hear complaints afterwards, like, I did not see anything. I have to look over the video. I haven't seen a parade in 5 years.
Wow.
So we have people who are keeping an eye on certain things too.
I'm impressed with Survivor because it's also very clear when you see them coming, you know
who they are.
Survivor there, and they're beautiful. And you can remember what they had. It's very unique.
Very true.
Veterans.
Yeah.
That's very true. I mean, Jasmine Phillips and Gibbes. Gibbes does a good job there as well. But that's true. You can always tell the difference between them every year.
It's amazing the amount of work involved in this event every year, and you already started working for 2017, right?
That's right. We've already announced our dates for next year. That is April 17 to May 3rd, 2017. But what a lot of people don't realize, not only the amount of work in terms of meeting with stakeholders and sponsors and getting sponsorship agreements in place and going out and hunting where you're going to get $700,000 from, is the amount of work it takes to actually put together a schedule. That in itself is 2-3 months, a 2-3 month challenge, because you have to meet with government, the Labor Department, in terms of going over the public holidays. Then you have to meet with every single promoter, the Queen Show organizers, to make sure to see how they are running. Then you have to find who's coming for the parade, yes or not. You have to look at where Easter falls.
You got the churches to know, right?
Be careful with the churches. It's really, and the schedule is always in flux until November. November is when you can finally put out the final schedule for Carnival for the next year. But right now, we already have a draft schedule, and we're working on it, trying to fine-tune it. But right now, the fine-tuning process has started, and that process won't be complete until November. And the registration opens in September, which is a whole different process. So it's a lot of work.
We plan everything but the weather. That's the only thing we really cannot plan.
The weather was nice this year.
This year was beautiful.
I have only one complaint with the weather.
It was cool.
During the parade, the Turin parade, it was really, really hot and overcast.
It was humid.
Rain,
it was humid.
It was humid, but it wasn't as bad as last year where we saw children fainting and stuff from the heat. So, and that's why we separated the parades from the children from the adults, because then we could have moved the children down Pondfield, because imagine you were on Pondfield and it was still that humid. Had you gone up Front Street, in between those buildings, now the children would have suffered. So down Pondfield worked, and the weather was good, because that second day parade, for example, with the rain, well, that was the best way to celebrate that second day parade.
I think the people prayed for that one, because right after the Bacchanal Sunday, everybody said, we need another wet fete. We got in our Facebook page, we get all these messages, people saying, is it true there's another Juve and another wet fete? How much of those we got? In the tens and tens and tens. So I guess they prayed for it, and
it happened.
Got some rain on the second day parade.
That's right.
I saw people jump out of spectating, and get into the rain and get into the parades.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the second day is, anything
Free up
goes,
yourself.
free up yourself. We have one more day, so I'm glad everybody had a good time.
But no, really, I remember when I was younger that during carnival time, they used to rain a lot.
Yes.
You go in the village, and it was all
The
this
mud.
puddle. Yeah, and this year it was, I mean, you all took a nice festival village and make it great now. So even if it rained, you don't have to walk through mud anymore, right?
Exactly. Not on that level. I mean, if it rains constantly here, we still have our little issues here and there. But it's not as it used to be. And a lot of people sometimes even miss the mud.
Yeah.
They tell you sometimes. They tell you they miss the
They
mud.
miss the mud and they miss the trucks coming in.
Coming into the village.
So this year, by the way, we had the band Clash back out
Yes.
on the other parking
Another
lot.
cultural event.
People love that. They really, really did love it, And what's funny is, some people used to run from the rain. I think when I started at SCDF, sometimes it would rain, people would run to the sides.
Yeah.
But this year, they had water trucks splashing the people with water, and people were running to the water. So it's a whole different type of party, and I think we've developed right here in St. Martin.
New generation.
It's a whole new generation. They had a pool in the village.
Yeah.
I mean, where are we going?
No, but it's really nice, and to see that, we had some incidents, but for the amount of people that took part in carnival this year, well, it was a small number of incidents,
Yes.
right?
That's exactly what Police Chief Carl John said. He said a lot of people ask him, but how did you say it's successful if you had one or two incidents? And he said, look, if you're going to, like for Juve, if you have 22,000 people on the road and you had 6 incidents, you had a successful Juve.
But Granger, I'll tell you something. You guys have to commend the police. They did a great
yes.
job.
We always
man.
are
I'm telling
thankful to the
I
police.
see the police was out there really a great job.
Yeah, and that's why 2 years ago, they were one of our honorees, the police force.
Okay.
We honored them because if you see how many shifts these men and women have to work during Carnival, you see them in a village one night, then 2 hours later, you see them back in the village again. They do a terrific job. I mean,
That's great.
And it's
really
so fun, in society now. There's even a song about a police officer. You have to work triple time, overtime, and it's this. I mean, there's so much coming together about Carnival.
That's nice.
It's
that's why-
uncontrollable.
Right, that's why when you see the police and the ambulance and everybody chipping a little bit along a parade route, don't criticize them too
Let
much.
them have a little
Leave the
fun.
people chip.
Yeah, I noticed that one police was dancing. She had a great time. That was nice. Really
Exactly.
I saw a police officer come up to a band member in Juve right in the beginning, and I would call his name, but we're good friends. I'm going to leave it there. He came up to our bass player, and he said, "Put it down." And he took up the bass, and he jammed with the band. Everybody know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And he had a good time.
That's
And I
nice.
mean, these are things that, you can't make up. It was just so great.
Hey guys, we out of time. We only have about a minute, so give each of you 30 seconds, Mr. Lourens.
Yes, all I would like to say 2017 is on the way. We're already planning. Visit our website, www.sxm-carnival.com. Download the app on iOS or Android, and then we can keep in touch with you all the time. If you have not liked the Facebook page, like it. And I want you to do one more thing. I want you to share it to everybody, because the more people know about our carnival, the better it's going to be. And I think next year, I would like to thank the public for coming out and enjoying it and participating. I would like to thank the police for keeping us safe. Thank you so much.
I just want to ask everybody to remember that Carnival is about you. Okay, and Carnival Foundation, we're not a bunch of know-it-alls. We don't have all the ideas in the world. We want to hear from our people. And Carnival can only grow if our people come on board and do it together. That is it. Carnival is about us. It's about our people. And we need you to make it happen and look forward to a terrific 2017. And we're excited about it, Oral. And thank you for having us.
And thank you all for coming in. I want to wish you both much success again. You did a great job. Convey that to the whole organization. We're proud of you all.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
that's
you.
it for now. See you next time. Till then, good night. Take care. Bye.